The Forbes Women's Summit is underway right now here in New York City. It brings together leading women from the worlds of business, media, entertainment, and politics. Our own Melody Hom, whom you will know from these couches on Wi-Fi AM, is on the ground at the summit, and she's joined right now by SoulCycle Co-Founder and WeWork partner, Julie Rice. Melody?
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, Julie, we just got off your panel. It was a really fascinating conversation about the power of community. And you have been, the co-founder of SoulCycle, and you're no longer with the company, but tell me what your proudest moment was, perhaps on your journey as you were creating Soul.
I think one of my proudest moments was when we opened our West Hollywood studio. We had created these incredible communities in New York, and we had wondered if we would be able to scale what we had done across the country without being there and touching it every day. And I think on our one-year anniversary in our West Hollywood studio, a bunch of different writers pulled me aside and said to me the same thing that I'd heard in the lobbies of studios in New York over and over again, which was, I came here to lose some weight, but it turns out what really happened was I had the courage to go and get a new job, or it made my relationship better, or I found friends that I didn't know that I would find here. And I think the moment that I knew that we could scale community and human connection was a really proud moment.
And tell me more about that cult phenomenon. I understand you opened up your first international location, or Soul did, in London just last week.
Yes.
It's been a really interesting journey. It honestly surprised me to know that there weren't any international locations. Why do you think the focus was so heads down, let's conquer the US first before perhaps exploring new markets?
I think that people underestimate how hard it is to build community and to actually foster connection and create these products with real integrity. We'd been looking at, Europe for quite a while. It was just about actually finding the right real estate and making sure that we had the right team to go there and do it.
What's so interesting is that idea of community tends to be a double-edged sword in some ways, because it has a very cultish nature, right, with SoulCycle, where there is a high price point to a certain extent, and it definitely attracts people who I believe are a bit of the privileged sorts, who can be able to afford a $30-something spin class and the sort. How do you feel like it has been inclusive, given perhaps some of that critique that it is exclusive in some ways?
Definitely. Well, look, when Elizabeth and I decided that we were going to charge per class, we really invented a new model. We actually created a marketplace. There was no boutique fitness yet. And so for us, we really thought about, do we want to have a membership model? Do we want to have a pay-per-class model? And when we made the decision to create a pay-per-class model, we really thought about the fact that people value what they pay for, and that they bring a different energy into the room when they feel committed, via the amount of money they've spent to bring their best selves in. And when you really do look at the amount of money that a SoulCycle class costs, it's the equivalent of a couple days at Starbucks, 2 cocktails, which people readily spend money on.
All right.
It's a much less expensive personal trainer.
Yeah.
And so, really, it's an affordable luxury is what we always called it. And I think in the room, once you get into those rooms and you're in the dark with your eyes closed, riding with the people around you, what you find is that everybody in that room is there to support the people around them. And there are no rooms that are more inclusive than those rooms that SoulCycle fosters.
So in addition to a co-founder that you really jived with, it's interesting to know in 2011, for those of you watching at home, you maybe have no idea that Equinox actually bought SoulCycle in 2011, and you ended up leaving the company in 2016 fully. But when you think about finding the right partner, right, so often a lot of these startups, they're like, guess I'll have to sell to private equity, or guess I'll have to sell to a competitor that's not really in line with my ethos. How did it feel like Equinox and SoulCycle was the perfect match?
So listen, at the time, nobody had ever scaled boutique fitness the way that we had envisioned SoulCycle would have the power to scale. And so for us, we weren't just looking for money, we were really looking for a strategic partner that could help us to scale the business. We have always been, really passionate and very in love with the product that SoulCycle was putting into the world. And we felt that in Equinox that we had a partner that could help us bring more soul to more people.
So on your current journey, you are a partner at WeWork. Can you tell me more about that experience and what the runway looks like for you?
Correct. So at WeWork, I'm really working on different types of experiences to extend our community. Recently, we opened our first B2C product, which is a by-the-minute co-working cafe. Our pilot is now open on the corner of 20th and Broadway. It's sort of an invitation to people to come and try us for a day and be a part of the community that WeWork creates and experience what it's like to be in the WeWork kind of beautiful design and environment and hospitality. So far, people seem to really like it. It's kind of a modern-day community center. We have fantastic events at night that really, we're creating a different kind of neighborhood.
Yep.
And I think that our plans are to ultimately, create more of this product, which is called Made by We, and to continue to build experiences that really foster our community.
So amazing, the power of offline in such a digital world. Thank you so much for joining us today.
So great
Appreciate it.